Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing burial chambers in Valheim and I want to tell a little bit of a story throughout this day. My husband and I, we were just going through some burial chambers, we were looking around, we hadn't really scouted out a lot of them, and this day, although we did find some things we were looking for, had a distinct smell of troll in the air, if you know what I mean, and you will see later in this video how that turned out. If you're new to this game, the reason we're doing burial chambers and killing lots of skeletons is because we want certling cores, which is what you use to make kilns, smelters, portals, and other important things. They're kind of vital in this part of the game. This story does also include quite a few deaths, and some of them are rather hilarious, some of them are absolutely terrifying, and a little bit of waiting around. I really hope you enjoyed the story that I'm about to tell, so sit tight, grab some snacks, and enjoy. I started my day as I always do when I'm about to go and do something dangerous. I say goodbye to the piggies in case I never come back, and of course give them a bit of food. You gotta give them some love. They are your pets after all. I'm still one of those people who still forget that some things you need to repair at the workbench and some you need to repair at the forge. I actually did remember this time, and I'd also stocked up on arrows, and I also remembered to grab my mead from the fermenter. I also cooked up a little bit of food to take with us. A little bit of meat here and there goes a long way, and we were ready to go. Don't forget to shut the door. I had scouted out the two first burial chambers ahead of time. I knew where they were-ish, I just hadn't actually killed any of the mobs around them. And if you're wondering, if you're new to this game, how you can easily spot burial chambers, there's always skeletons around them. They're not very difficult to kill, and they're weak to blunt damage. I'm actually using a spear because I can, but the best thing to use is a mace. I do also shoot them sometimes, and they do actually catch on fire, which is quite hilarious. So we were going into the first burial chamber. We didn't really know what to expect. We'd only done a couple. So we ate our food and we ventured inside. It's really dark in here, and neither of us had remembered to grab a torch, which probably is something we should have done because, well, as you can see, we couldn't see anything. We opened the first door and nothing? Seems rather suspicious to me. We did also end up with a lot of dead ends in this one. There was dead end after dead end after dead end, and it was actually kind of irritating because there's nothing there. We ended up going the next route. Sometimes burial chambers have 2 doors, sometimes they have 3. So we started to see some damage down the hall, and finally we had some skeletons to light up. And here we go, we have a party. These were just regular skeletons. They're not very difficult to kill. They are a little bit annoying to see if you don't light them up, but you do have the little mushrooms spread around, which do give a little bit of light, I guess. And don't forget to pick up the mushrooms. They are very vital for a lot of food that you cook later on. We had some more skeletons come at us. And then a spawner. Don't forget to kill the spawners, because if not, there will be skeletons everywhere. And we found our first lot of certling cores. This was exactly what we wanted. I went in to pick them up. There was 4 of them, which was really, really great. Some burial chambers can have 1, some can have 0, and some can have tons of them. We have at the most picked up 13 in one. We did then find this. Well, I definitely call this a burial chamber. It looks kind of cool. But what surprised me was that when I went up to the entrance, I was suddenly in the mountains. I didn't get the freezing buff, but it was kind of interesting because these were at the bottom of a mountain and actually inside, you're actually in the mountain biome, which I found kind of strange. I guess it's just a little bit of a glitch in the system, but we did get some more certling cores, which was great. We found some more skeletons down the 3rd route. They were a little bit difficult because we had a 1 star, but again, they're not difficult to kill, they just hit a little bit hard. That's why I'm standing back with a bow and my husband is up there with a mace and a shield to block them. I generally play casters in games, so I like to stay back a little bit. I do use a lot of arrows though, which is quite irritating. Down the next route we found lots and lots of mushrooms, and we found a Vavvisor, which will show us where the next boss is. So this is a Vavvisor for the Elder boss. I didn't really need to look at this because I already found another one, so I could see already where he was, but I had a look anyway. I have scouted this way now, and now it's time to go. It's time to get out of this one, but at least this one was successful. We found lots and lots of copper on the way, which is really great. Don't forget to mark off where you find copper. It's really, really important because they're quite difficult to see. And we also found some carrot seeds, which can be a bit hard to see. And of course, we met a troll. In general, I really don't like trolls for some reason. They make my heart jump out of my chest and it's really irritating. But we took him down. There was a couple of little stragglers here and there that made it quite irritating. But luckily, with bows, trolls are very, very easy to kill in the open because you can just kite them around. And since we had one person with a mace and one with a bow, it was fairly easy to kill it. We decided to split the troll hides between us because we're both currently making troll armor. And we were going to run into another one. We didn't know it at the time, but the scent of troll was definitely in the air this day. We went into our next burial chamber. Again, it was dark. We didn't have a torch. We're absolutely geniuses when it comes to bringing a torch. We didn't have one for the entire day, even though we could have just gone to get one. This one had a couple of more skeletons in it, but in general, it was quite bare. There wasn't really that much to pick up. We did find one end of a burial chamber here where there was a couple of circling cores and a spawner, which does make things a bit difficult if you're alone. I did also get kind of caught in with two skeletons and I ran over to my husband to get some help because I didn't want to swap off my bow. We did kill them in the end, but the spawners are definitely very irritating when out looking for circling cores. We only found one circling core in this one, which was really, really sad. Luckily, the previous one had yielded us some. It was nighttime and raining when we came out of this burial chamber, but we decided to press on. We hadn't scouted any more, but I knew that there should be some more nearby, so we decided to go on a lookout for more burial chambers, because, I mean, there had to be some more. Obviously, in the middle of the night, lots of things spawned, but we did eventually find another burial chamber, so we headed in. And this is where the fun started, because as we were starting to pull things, my husband realized that he hadn't eaten more of his food and he died. That meant that I had to kill the rest of the skeletons, which wasn't very difficult. I could just stand away and shoot at them pretty much. They did have bows, but I ended up waiting for a good 10 minutes while my husband ran back. And finally, he came back, grabbed his stuff, and we waited a little bit so that his health could recuperate again. As we ventured further into the crypt, we did find a couple of more skeletons, and we got a visit from Casper, the not-so-friendly ghost, which they don't drop anything, which really pisses me off, but it was guarding quite a few circling cores, which kind of made up for it, as well as some gold and quite a few bone fragments, so that does really help. But I do wish that ghosts actually dropped anything. That was the only thing we found in there. There was only one ghost and only a couple of skeletons, so we were a bit like, okay, what now? Should we keep searching? Or is this enough for us? Should we maybe just quit? We didn't. We found a couple of more crypts and we went in, found a couple of skeletons. There wasn't really a lot of circling cores in there. There was a lot of dead ends. We did pick up quite a few mushrooms, but it was pretty much a bust. We were kind of getting tired of having lots of dead ends, so we exited this one and we had seen one nearby, so we decided to head over to the other one and hopefully find some more circling cores. We did, of course, run into lots of skeletons, which I set on fire so we could actually see. But again, that doesn't really make up for no circling core, so we decided to look around in the forest a bit, and what did we find? We found a troll. We decided to kill him and get some of the skins. We had so many little things swarm us, which made it actually really difficult. But we managed to kill off the troll and then kill off all the little stragglers, and then we headed off and we found a troll cave. There wasn't a troll outside. We decided to sit there and wait for a little bit before we went in. Every single troll cave that I've been in hasn't had any trolls in it, so we snuck in. Again, we didn't have any lights with us. We snuck, and there was a 1-star troll. We really didn't know what we were getting into, but I realized as I fired the first arrow that this was going to be difficult. It came for us, which obviously means that you don't have a lot of space to move on in the troll caves. They're really, really tight. We ran around. My husband tried to kite it so I could fire arrows at it. I kept missing. This was really going to be difficult. And then came the first hit. My husband almost died. We tried to run out and we managed to get out pretty much with our lives intact. So we decided to rest up, get our HP back, and head in again. The troll was waiting for us right inside. We'd only done maybe 20% of his HP, and I tried to get him going, but then he hits again. He slams in this really confined space. My husband gets hit again and again and again, and he suddenly dies. I ran out instantly so I wouldn't lose any of my skills, and I had to wait for him to get back down, which took a little while. We were quite far away from our spawn point. We hadn't set a little village or anything as our spawn point, so we waited. My husband got his stuff back. We waited a little bit longer. We had a little fire and went back in. And of course, the troll is right there in our face and slams me down to 18 HP. We run back out, and it's starting to get a little bit ridiculous. We waited up again, inventory's full, weapons starting to fail, and this was getting really, really frustrating. This 1-star troll might actually do us. We tried again. The troll is right there, ready to slam, and I could not get out. I couldn't click the exit. I went down to 8 HP. Such a butt clench moment. And next time we go in, my husband tried to kite him away. I tried to get some arrows off, and my husband almost dies. We're just running, 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 running. This is getting absolutely ridiculous. On the third run, my husband died. He had to get back in. I went back to scout to see if I could get a couple of arrows off at him. But it doesn't do much. Even with a fully upgraded fine wood bow and fire arrows, a 1-star troll doesn't take a lot of damage. And when you have a very limited area to go on, it's quite difficult. This could actually end up being our doom. We rested up and hoped for the best. My husband's gear was actually failing, but we didn't have anything with us that we could actually build repairs with. So what we were going to do, we went in, tried the troll again, husband kiting. I missed an arrow, which was very, very frustrating. And he turns around to me and tries to slam me. I'm kiting around. I'm trying. He almost kills me. I'm still kiting him. My husband trying to kite as well. And we decided to run out before I die as well. Of course, that killed my husband. What were we going to do? This troll's ass was standing right next to the entrance the entire time. So I went in to scout where my husband died so he could get in. He could run in and grab stuff while I was kiting the boss. This was getting so frustrating. I almost died while my husband was trying to get his stuff. And my husband almost died again while he was trying to get his stuff. So we were just trying to run in, get his stuff for the third time, and hope for the best, really. We just had to sprint. This was absolutely horrible. This is literally the most difficult thing I've done in this game so far. And we barely got away with our lives. It was time for another round of rest. My husband was putting his things back on. So we went back in again, hoping that this would be the last time. I got a couple of good hits in on him, but I had to dip out because I almost died. I dipped back in then, and finally, the 1-star troll died. I don't know if all the deaths were actually worth the drops. He drops 10 troll hides, which didn't really feel worth it, but at least we had the achievement that we had managed to kill a 1-star troll inside a cave. It was really, really difficult. Not because it has that much HP or trolls are very difficult to fight, but because there is so limited movement space in the troll caves. I really do wish they were bigger. There was a couple of more drops in the chest, and we finally got out of there. That was an absolute nightmare. After that shambles of events, we decided it was definitely time to get out of there. I didn't want to see another troll for the rest of my life, and the crypts around were all empty, so we decided to head home. We did come across a couple of skeletons, surprisingly, but even though it was in the middle of the day and we had already killed all the ones around the crypts. But we ran and we ran with our bags full and our hearts slightly diminished, but finally we were home. Oh my gosh, what a day. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.